Off the red-nosed reindeer. Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer had a very shiny nose. And if you ever saw it, you could even say it glowed. All of the other reindeer, you could only his story.
Woohoo! Okay. I want you to say, you're listening to the Jordan Simone Show.
Okay. You're listening to the Jordan Simone Shop.
All right, let's try again. That was really good. Say, you're listening to the Jordan Simone Show.
Okay. You were listening to the Money Shopping with Daddy's Shop.
Yeah, good job. All right, let's try one more time. You're listening to the Jordan Simone Show.
You're listening to Morning Jordan.
Okay, that was close. All right, could you say, you're listening to my daddy's show?
You're listening to my Daddy's Show.
That's perfect. Love you.
Love you.
From the asphalt to the spotlight glow, dribble dreams where the legends go. Every shot's a story, every pass a sign. True ball knows.
What an introduction from my 3-year-old daughter. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope you all enjoyed your Christmas. Welcome back to another edition of the Jordan Simone Show. Today, going to be diving into the college football playoff. We're going to talk ASU versus Duke in the Sun Bowl. We'll recap the Kenny Dillingham coaching chaos with the rumors of him going to Michigan. And we'll talk about a few other things. Appreciate you guys jumping in here. I hope you all are gearing up for a nice new year. Get back to the basics, people. Get back in the gym, eat healthy, make it a daily habit. It's important. I hope everybody's enjoying the holiday season. And again, just thank you for tuning in. Here we go. Kenny Dillingham rumors to Michigan. I don't truly believe that he was ever going to go to Michigan. I really don't believe it. I believe that Kenny is as loyal as they come. I think that he used it as leverage big time with the administration. I think I've said before, the only way to me that Kenny Dillingham leaves ASU is if the administration's not giving him the support that he needs to win a championship. And what I mean by that is that they've got to start giving him money for NIL. I don't think he's necessarily worried about his contract. Yes, he deserves more money because he's one of the biggest names in college football. This coaching carousel this offseason was crazy. There were so many open jobs, and you better believe his agent got a call on almost every single big job. Penn State lands on Matt Campbell from Iowa State. He's a good coach. Not to take anything away from Matt Campbell, but he's not a top 3 name in the Big 12 as far as as far as coaches go. Kenny's up there with all the best, and everybody, it seemed like, whether it was Signetti or whoever, got the deal done and got the pay raise that they deserved. Kenny got his pay raise with the administration showing up and giving him the money that he needed. But more than anything, I think that this was leverage for him to get the administration to give him what he needs here in the NIL. And the rumors that I've heard, and again, these are rumors, I heard that ASU, the university, is going to give him $11.5 million for NIL. And I think they've got another 15 or so million coming from boosters. So that puts you 25, 26 million right where you need to be to compete at a national level. I mean, look at what Texas Tech has done with that amount of money just in a single year. And what did Texas Tech focus on? Offense and defensive line. Look, I know that you need a quarterback. You need a great quarterback. Look across the NFL. The teams, great quarterbacks win with great coaches, of course, too. But I promise you, if ASU can go and get offensive and defensive linemen, which is exactly what Texas Tech did, they got a billionaire oil guy who played offensive line at Texas Tech. He went and he gave the school a ton of money. I'm pretty sure he gave $30 million, with 25 of that specifically for football. And so that's just the beginning for Texas Tech. They start winning games, they're able to recruit more. This is the route that you need to take now to win games in college football. Now, it doesn't matter if you can't coach them right, if you can't get them in the right place and doing the right thing. You can get, the best athletes in the world, but a 4.3 running the wrong way is slow. So now that the administration ponied up and gave Kenny what he needed, look, it was weird. I get it. It was weird. Kenny in that press conference, crying and saying how much he loved it here. You could take it, as hey, he's not leaving, or you could take it as, man, what is he, conflicted emotionally? What's going on? But I think he played his cards right. Him and his agent, they did what they had to, right? Kenny's got to pull those strings and make those guys think that he's got an opportunity elsewhere. And when that Michigan job came open, I was the first one going, ooh, this is the first one that's really making me not feel good about this situation. Like, I could see him leaving. Michigan's a top 5 name in college football. I mean, that brand alone and the money that's behind you, they'll do anything to get back to a championship season. They were there not too long ago and got it done. But I mean, man, you talk about an opportunity. You go get, Kenny and his family, life-changing money. You got boosters stroking you checks that you can go get any player in the portal that you want. You can go get any player from high school. It's what an opportunity it was. But Kenny stayed true. He stayed a Sun Devil. He stayed at ASU, and then of course a picture, a couple days later, of his sister over his back fence. And I think that's ultimately what it came down to, right? Is he's neighbors with his family. He loves being a Sun Devil. He wants to bring championships here, and so my hat's off to Kenny. And he's said how loyal he is and how much he loves it. But when that money starts coming, man, I don't know if we would all say the same thing, right? I don't know that we would all go, yeah, let me turn down $80 million over the next 7 years here. I don't know that we would do that, guys. I really don't. I love ASU just as much as the next guy. But I think this is what you're going to start seeing in college football. This is the trend. It's guys finding a way to find a job that they're not necessarily comfortable at, but where they think they can win and they think they can build a program. Because if you go to an SEC school and you win 2 or 3 games, if you lose 2 or 3 games and you don't win the conference, you're going to be fired in 3 years. This is what it is these days. LSU with Brian Kelly, they're projected to be in the college football playoff. They're not. Boom, you're fired. And now those coaches all get paid, of course, but this is the state of college football. And for Kenny, that LSU job comes open. Obviously, they got their guy, but if he goes and takes that job and they don't win a championship within 3 years, he's fired. At ASU, if you're battling the Big 12, if you're in the mix for the Big 12 championship every year, you're not going to get fired. If you're showing improvement, if you're showing that you got guys, if you're putting guys in the NFL, we've got money. This is the state of college football. So I love that Kenny stayed. I couldn't even imagine what would have happened if he left. We would have been so effed. It wouldn't even been funny. ASU would have been set back years and years, maybe worse than when Herm left, just because of how big of a name he is and how well he did in recruiting, what he was building here, and that momentum. It's just all gone overnight. And I don't know who you get this late in the coaching cycle to replace him. Look what Michigan got. They got Kyle Whittingham. Now, let me tell you, I played against Kyle Whittingham's teams at Utah. They're great teams. They're physical. They're tough as hell. Always going to be a battle. I just remember always after those games just being sore as hell because those players played hard. And that's a testament to the coach that he is. But Kyle Whittingham's also 65 years old. He's not exactly the sexiest hire for recruits in that area. I don't know. Recruits don't know who Kyle Whittingham is. They know he coached at Utah. Yeah, Utah's been pretty good. For those of us that are older in college football, we know how good of a coach Kyle Whittingham is. But he's not Kenny Dillingham. He doesn't have the recruiting power that Kenny Dillingham has. and the hype behind that comes with it, and the offensive mind, and he's a defensive coach that they're going to play they're going to play tough and physical, and he can recruit. That's not to say that he can't recruit at all, and he'll go blow up that Utah staff, I'm sure, because what coach wouldn't want to go coach at Michigan after being at Utah? I mean, again, it's one of the biggest names in college football. But here's the thing: if you don't win, how hot does that seat get? How quickly? If he has 6 wins next year, probably gets another season. You have another bad year or tough year, you lose to Ohio State twice, then all the birds start coming out. They start saying, hey, is this really the guy? Oh, look at this coach. Look at this young coach who's coming up at this school. Maybe he'd be interested. So this is the problem, and a weird exit for Kyle Whittingham as well. He's retiring, but he's not. You have a coach promoted from within in Morgan Scaley, who's awesome, defensive guy, played for Whittingham, played at Utah, will be great for Utah. But it'll be interesting to see what happens to Utah's staff as Whittingham starts getting it dialed in. It sounds like he's already got the DC from BYU. And again, Kalani Sitake, was another name that almost got the Penn State job and then decided to stay. So I think you're going to start seeing more and more coaches go like, no, I think I'll stay where I'm at. Kalani Sitake could be at BYU for the next 20 years. I think you're going to start seeing coaches looking for long-term stays at these schools rather than just jumping to the next big job, even with all the money floating around. So all that to say, fired up that Kenny is staying at ASU. I don't know where we'd be if he didn't, and thank God we don't have to have that conversation. The Leavitt leaving is a weird deal as well. I don't know that I've talked about it on here, but I think it's a huge mistake. I think I did talk about this. Sorry, guys. Been a while since we've been on here. I think Leavitt leaving's a huge mistake. I mean, you look at the portal. I think he's probably the biggest name from a quarterback standpoint that's in the portal. But there's a lot of big name quarterbacks that are in the portal that ASU is going to be all over. And probably guys that aren't even in the portal that they're trying to go after. So, where does Leavitt end up? I don't know. I'm here in Oregon. And that makes a ton of sense. But it's also weird because Dan Lanning and Kenny Dillingham have such a tight relationship. So it's just that would be real interesting if that happened. Just with their relationship and their connection. But again, dog eat dog world. You got to do what you got to do. Kenny understands. My opinion is that Leavitt went to Kenny and said, hey, I really, I'm thinking about, I'm getting a ton of offers. Kenny probably just went, good, go ahead, go on, test the market, do your thing. If you don't want to be a Sun Devil, I don't want you to be here either. We'll go find somebody that wants to be a Sun Devil, which I love that attitude. And obviously we wish the best to Sam. I think he could have been a Mount Rushmore quarterback at ASU if he stayed. And it just, it's sad that he, he left, just because he could have had the keys to the city here in Tempe and Scottsdale, and he's going to go test the market to see what's out there. It's funny, you watch like these Sunday night football games or Monday night football games, and the players all introduce themselves and what school they went to. Not every player went to Alabama or LSU. They're all over. NC State, whatever, North Carolina, Clemson, Bowling Green. They're from all over the country. The fact of the matter is that if you can play football, if you are a good football player, they will find you no matter what school you're at. You don't have to be at the SEC. Yes, in the SEC, you're going to play against the best of the best. You'll play the best players, and no doubt about it that it's the best league in football. The Big Ten's right up there too. But if you go play, if he stayed at ASU, had an all Big 12 season, took him to a championship, won a championship, played in the college football playoff, that's just as good, if not easier, of an opportunity to go first round in the NFL. You could make an argument that he has a better route to be a first round draft pick at ASU. So whoever's in his corner, I think they're making a huge mistake. And it's sad because, you probably got some people in his corner that are telling him things that, hey, let's go get more money. And look, it's money, right? It's big time money. But he's a top 10 paid player in college football this year. He made $3 million, people. $3 million freaking dollars. You're going to go chase an extra million somewhere. Good luck to you. We'll go back to the portal and figure it out. And maybe we can take that $3 million or find that $3 million again and disperse it to some offensive and defensive linemen, because we've proved that we can run the football. Let's just go find a quarterback that doesn't turn it over and can make plays with his feet. DJ Lagway from Florida. I haven't watched a ton of Florida football. I just know he's a big name. I know he can run. He's a big dude. That would be exciting. There's Brendan Sorsby from Cincinnati's in the portal. There's a ton of quarterbacks in this portal that you look at, and I'm sure Kenny's watching the film and going, which guy do we really need to make a run at here? Because you're not going to be able to rely on a true freshman. The true freshman that they've got coming in has got a ton of hype. He played in El Paso. How good is the talent in El Paso? Who knows? He's Jake Fetty. I think his name's Jake Fetty. I'm not in on the recruiting stuff. We got to get Cartman in here to tell us about that. Which brings me to the next point. You got the Sun Bowl in El Paso coming up in a couple days. It's going to be fun to watch. I mean, I don't know, what our quarterback situation looks like. Jeff Sims could throw 4 picks, or he could run for 4 touchdowns. You really don't know what you're going to get. Duke is a good football team. They won the ACC, and here they are playing ASU. Last time ASU played Duke was in the 2015 Sun Bowl, which I actually played in, and we won. Kind of a last-second interception by my boy Quishy Brown in the corner of the end zone. I remember being on the field, turning and looking and going, please! Picked it off. We won the game. That was a blast. I mean, coming off that 2014 season where we had a ton of success and then just kind of pitter-pattered out towards the end, lose to Oregon State, lose to U of A. So we didn't go to the Pac-12 championship to play Oregon, which would have been a blast if we were all healthy. But got it done against Duke. Fun experience. I got food poisoning that week in El Paso. How good is El Paso? We love El Paso, don't we? That's a terrible Trump impression. Anyways, I'm excited to watch this game. It's who's playing, who's not. I mean, we've had a ton of transfers already. You just never know what you're going to get. I don't have high hopes. I'm just excited to watch another ASU football game, as you all are. Duke's a good football team. I don't know what it's going to look like. I know that if our quarterback turns the ball over 3 times, we're probably going to lose. It's just impossible to win football games if you turn the football over. There's a weird feeling right now with bowl games in college football. It's all these players are transferring. Teams are now not playing. Notre Dame decided they didn't want to play against BYU. It sucks. I used to look forward so much to bowl season. I was talking with my dad over Christmas, and it sucks. You used to go like, yes, it's bowl season. This is going to be awesome. Watch the best of the best play each other. Now, if you're not in the college football playoff, if you got good players, they're sitting out to get ready for the NFL draft, and if not, there's players transferring, so they're not even playing. It's just a weird deal. Coaches are taking different jobs, so you don't have your coach. This coach is out because of this reason. So it's the whole landscape of college football's changed, and they got to figure it out. I mean, the transferring and everything is just so bizarre. It's becoming a real problem. I mean, with these transfers, you got to figure out a way for them to not be able to bounce around every single year. I mean, you can't play and then transfer and then play and then transfer and then play and then transfer. There's got to be a 1-year sit out, or you sign some type of 2-year deal where, hey, we're going to give you $1 million. You're going to get $100,000 up front, and then we're going to pay you throughout, your 2-year contract. Just because, this is real money that's being tossed around, and these boosters are just going to keep getting burned. And that well's going to dry up. I mean, Sam Leavitt got $3 million and played 6 games or whatever, got hurt, didn't play, and now he takes his money and he runs to go get more money. So that well's going to dry up. These boosters are going to say, this is bullshit, I'm out. I don't want any part of it. So there will be a correction in this market. Who knows when it's going to happen? Who knows what it'll look like? You probably need to have a commissioner of some type stand in here and go, guys, we got to stop this. We need, if you want to transfer, it's great, but you get one time to transfer and play. If you transfer again, you have to sit out a year. It's the only way that makes sense, where you have to have some type of punishment for guys transferring and transferring and transferring. Lose a year of eligibility, whatever it is. So all that to say, I hate where the state of college football is. and I hope they figure out some way to fix it. All right, excuse me. Hold, please. Gotta take a sip. Super Tuscan wine. You ever heard of it? Just kidding. It's water. No, it's wine. Oregon is playing Texas Tech. This is, the Oregon JMU game. Excuse me. What a joke of a game that is. And JMU covered, which is even more ridiculous. I mean, I think I almost punched a hole in the wall when JMU covered. I mean, Oregon's defense just went like, yeah, let's just let them march 99 yards down the field, 4th down and on the 1-inch line and score and just shove it up your ass, What a joy that was. Oregon's playing Texas Tech now. Texas Tech obviously won the Big 12, beat the brakes off BYU. Oregon's favored by 2.5. And I saw Dan Lanning make some comments going basically, hey, this game should be played at Texas Tech. There should be an advantage for Texas Tech getting the bye and played at home. How sick would a home game be at Texas Tech playing Oregon? Now, of course, we love, the large stadium environment, nationally televised, the biggest commentators in the game on ESPN. I think it makes sense that Oregon's favored. But don't sleep on Texas Tech. They got a damn good defense. They've got speed. They've got size. They'll be able to battle with Oregon. I'm excited for this. My gut leans Dan Lanning. I think they play against JMU, and it's a cupcake game, tough to get up for. Obviously, exciting. But I lean Dan Lanning here, and the talent that those teams have played all year, I think they'll be more prepared and ready, especially given that they were not a top 4 seed with the bye. I think they got a little chip on their shoulder, so I'll take Oregon to win by the 2.5. Next game, Alabama playing Indiana in the Rose Bowl. Is there anything better than the Rose Bowl kickoff? Those 2 games are both on January 1st. I know we got a game the night before, Ohio State Miami. We'll get into that, but Alabama, Indiana. Indiana's favored by 7 in this game. What a freaking dog Curt Cignetti is. Fernando Mendoza wins the Heisman from Cal. I mean, the last 4 Heisman winners, all from the Pac-12, RIP. Got to figure out a way to get that back. What a joke. But Bama with an absolute comeback against Oklahoma. I believe they were down 17-0, and Alabama marched all the way back and wins that game. Indiana is just such a complete football team. They're coached so well. I love Indiana in this game. 7's a lot of points, but man, you watch Indiana play, and it's just special. They do all the little things right. They play hard. They've had a month to recover, heal up any nicks and bruises, because towards the end of the year, I promise you guys, they're there. I mean, I remember one year I had repetitive stingers. I had broken chip bone in my thumb. Guys get tight hamstrings. You get a month to recover, it can be good, but it can also be bad. It can also be counterintuitive because you haven't really strapped up and hit and gone full speed. Now this is where you rely on good coaches, and Curt Cignetti will have these boys to play. I think Indiana wins this game. To cover 7, it's aggressive. I will just say I think that they will cover the 7, but I have been on an absolute cooler. I have been losing every game. Every game I bet I've been losing. So take that for what you will. The next game I'm looking at on the schedule here is the Ole Miss Georgia game, which is later in that day. I mean, you're going 10 a.m. Oregon, Texas, 2 p.m. Alabama, Indiana, then 6 p.m. Ole Miss Georgia. What a freaking lineup. This is what it's all about, people. This is why we love the game, and this is why they need to expand the playoff and have more of these games and stop putting JMU and Tulane in these freaking games. It's such a joke. Put the best freaking 16 teams, top 16, in the playoff. Who wants to watch JMU play Oregon? Such a joke of a football game. No disrespect to JMU, of course, you win your conference, but you do not deserve to play Oregon or anybody that's a Power 4 Big 12 school, or Power 4 conference team. Ole Miss taking on Georgia. Ole Miss has already lost to Georgia. Georgia might be one of the teams in college football that's just peaking at the right time. Fun to watch. I mean, Ole Miss obviously has a chip on their shoulder with everything that they've battled, but But, man, I find it hard to bet against Kirby Smart and this team. That defense is rolling. I'm going to take Georgia minus 6.5 against Ole Miss. Now, I know Ole Miss can score. I don't see what the over-under is in this game. Let me see if I click on this, what happens. Over-under is 55. Wow, it's a lot of points. So they're expecting points. I don't think there'll be that many points in this game. I think Georgia's defense is legit. No, they get after the passer. I'll take Georgia minus 6.5. I even like the under here. Again, I have maybe lost every bet I've placed in the last 2 weeks. So either fade me or ride with me. I don't care. And then that game's the Sugar Bowl. The game the night before on December 31st is Miami taking on Ohio State. Miami just with a shit burger of a game, just a defensive game, which everybody hates, taking on Ohio State. Ohio State is the best team in college football. I mean, I know that Indiana just beat them and they're the best, but Ohio State takes a loss, and it's only going to help them get back to what makes them great. They needed to get a shot in the chin, and I think that they'll blow the brakes off Miami here. I don't think Miami's going to be able to play with these guys. Ohio State's favored by 9.5 for a reason. I'll take Ohio State. Did I take all the favorites? What a loser I am. See, this is why I told you guys, better not listen to me. I don't know what I'm talking about. The over-under in this game is 40.5. So they're thinking Ohio State's number one defense is gonna roll here. But I could not be more excited for these games. That's a 5:30 kickoff on December 31st, just a couple days away here. Man, and then so you're talking about Oregon potentially playing Indiana, and then Georgia playing Ohio State. This is what the college football playoffs all about. Give me the best teams. I want to see the best teams play each other. I mean, how gross would it be if you had Texas Tech playing Alabama and Ole Miss Miami? I mean, I'd just throw up in my mouth. I want to see the best teams play each other. But at this point of the season, who cares? It's exciting. This is what it's all about. I think that's all I got for you guys. Exciting year of college football coming to an end. Now, the team that I hope wins, of course, is Texas Tech. I think they've got a great story. Obviously, they've dumped a ton of money into this team, into this year, so it'll be exciting to watch all these games. But as always, go Devils. Thank you all for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the opening by my daughter, Grayson. I love you guys. Big things planned for the Jordan Simone Show in 2026. We're going to get a studio. We're going to be putting this on Twitter long form. We're going to put it on YouTube long form. Of course, it'll still be on Spotify. And I appreciate every single one of you that have taken a chance on this podcast and given it a listen. It has not been perfect by any means, and it won't be for a while, but we'll always strive to be better and better and better. And we'll keep talking football. Thank you, guys. I love you. Happy holidays. Happy New Year. And we'll see you in 2026.